Welcome into ACSA News. It's been a little while. My name is Michael Kelly. It is good to have you with us. These are certainly strange and uncertain times for so many, and so we wanted to bring you a broadcast focusing on the good things happening in California education. Now, what we're used to is visiting the schools, walking those campuses with those making a difference. From the students, to the teachers, to the administrators, we've told the stories that matter. And yes, schools are now closed, and so we are adapting like so many of you. But the reality is, just because class is not in session does not mean people have stopped doing fantastic things. So let's start in South Orange County, where Kyle Vallone is working around the clock to provide face shields to help people on the front lines. Kyle is a junior at Tesoro High. He launched Operation Capo Cares with the help of Patty Romo. She's the executive director of career technical education at Capistrano Unified School District. Kyle is using 3D printers to create headbands that attach to the rest of the face shield. Kyle says his great hope is that other students and other districts will follow suit.
Find any way that you can contribute, any organization that you can help, and get out there and make a difference. Whether it's helping your local doctor's office or hospitals nationwide, everything helps, everything counts.
It takes about an hour and 10 minutes to print each part. So through the first 3 weeks of the operation, Kyle and his team have created more than 1,800 parts. That's an impressive number from an even more impressive young man. Our next story takes us to Coachella Valley, where more than 80 students across the region created a virtual concert band. Take a listen. I don't know about you, I could listen to that for hours. The song is The March from Gustav Holst's second Suite in F. Matt Howe is the director of bands for Cathedral City High. He and Matt Engelson from Desert Hot Springs High teamed up to launch this thing. They created a website where students can not only download the music, but then they can upload their videos. But it wasn't just students. Thanks to social media, this has spread pretty quickly to the point where teachers from across the country recorded parts as well.
It's been a really great cathartic experience, I think, for everybody involved. You know, not only the students, but the teachers as well. You know, it's a way for us to stay in communication with our students. It's the only way really that we're able to perform music and play music with these students.
And if you enjoyed the music as much as I did, there's more good news. The Mats just released a second video earlier this week, a jazz band performance. They plan on rolling these out for at least the rest of the school year. That is music to my ears.
We got magic to do just for you. We got miracle plays to play. We got hearts to perform, hearts to warm.
Theater at Granite Bay High was supposed to open its spring production of Pippin this month. COVID-19 had other plans. But the show must go on, and on it did. The students and theater director Kyle Holmes recorded one of the numbers from the musical, Magic to Do. Holmes on why investing in the arts is more imperative than ever before.
You don't need much to do a lot right now with art. If you have a cell phone, that's enough. If you have some kind of microphone or recording device, you can put stuff out there. And I think my message for everyone right now, students and teachers and administrators and communities, is that art is more important than ever right now, and especially when we get back on our school campuses, we're really going to need it.
There's still hope they'll be able to perform the full production of Pippin down the road, but in the meantime, they've had discussions about doing another video or two from the show. We'll keep you posted on that. Distance learning is in full swing in schools across California, and if you need a little motivational pick-me-up, Jacob Blake has you covered.
It's distance learning time. All your classes are online.
Step aside Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. Jacob Blake with a parody of the 90s hit Summertime. Blake is a STEM teacher at Chilton Middle. He had some help on this courtesy of his 17-year-old daughter, who recorded the music video on her iPhone. He originally planned to share the song just with his students, and then things took off from there. Blake on how he pulled this off.
It was honestly about 1:30 in the morning. I woke up and I was like, okay, I got the song, and then some of the lyrics started going. So it started with, it's not summertime as being the chorus, and then I wanted it to be a little more positive, and it was like, oh, it's distance learning time. So that's kind of where it started, and then I wrote all the lyrics that night and then recorded it the next morning.
We've heard so many stories over these last few weeks of people on the front lines risking their lives for the health and safety of strangers. One of those unsung heroes, Mary McNeil. She's the superintendent in Needles Unified School District. Mary, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here with you too, Michael.
There's so much I want to discuss, but let's start with this. Can you set the scene for our viewers? What's it like living and working in Needles?
Well, Needles is on the California, Arizona, Nevada border. We actually are on the state line, and we're part of the tri-state area, which includes all three of those states. So my school district is 5,999 square miles, and over that area, up and down the river, I have approximately 1,128 students. Our ability to even know students who are in our district sometimes is challenging because we're dependent upon the communities, to really tell us who moves in, who moves out. It's even more challenging to try to provide distance learning or any type of grab and go meals.
Mary, some people don't understand all the hats a small district superintendent wears on a daily basis, and that was before COVID-19. What does your job entail?
I am superintendent. My CBO left last year, so for a year and a half, I've been CBO. I am still in charge of personnel, HR, and I'm in charge of curriculum instruction. I do the LCAP. Our director of maintenance left, and the board felt that I did a really good job with all these other departments, so I may as well do maintenance too. So I'm in charge of maintenance, and I think that's about it. Oh, and the job of superintendent, which, in and of itself is a full-time job.
When you talk about the fact that 3/4 of your kids qualify for free or reduced lunch, and we're dealing with a rural community like Needles, how do you make that work in getting them the food that they need during COVID-19, during this time?
Our first week went really well as we used food that we had on hand. However, by the second and third week, especially after spring break, we were looking at food shortages that were severe to the point of we weren't going to be able to provide food. We ran out of milk. We ran out of all packaged type food. We ran out of sort of everything except for bread and peanut butter and jelly. So in 1 week's time, I had staff that made 7,000 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then a couple of days later, they made about that same amount of ham and cheese. Our kids are hungry. We don't have a grocery store. So our families really rely on our schools to provide that food. So as superintendent, I've had to really connect and look for other avenues to be able to purchase food from other states, as well as to get food from food banks.
I would assume internet is an issue as well, especially when you talk about just the sheer size of your district from a geographic standpoint. How have you and your team managed distance learning over these last few weeks?
Trying to put in place an entirely new educational system. Just the time it took researching what we should be doing was a challenge. We worked with packets to start. So the issue that became apparent right on was the issue with the packets are great, but who's going to come and make all these copies? We saw the need to look at our internet and our distance learning from devices to installing internet in our community. So I use my phone as a hotspot. Can we get phones? I can get 400 of them mailed out, next day mail. And so we started distributing our hotspots that are iPhone 7s, and our families have been very, very appreciative.
What do you want viewers to know about the resolve of the people in your district?
I think that any time since I've been out here during the whole 7 years, what I've seen is that I have committed individuals, but I think through COVID-19, I have really seen growth in terms of learning and being creative and really doing what it takes to provide for our students. I think the heart of Needles is, as a small town, is that people here come together. I think that through COVID-19, I think it's even grown that sense of community. And I think that's a real commitment that this community has to serving the needs of our kids, which then serves the needs of our families. We've supported the tribe, we supported the city, we're supporting individual families, just in terms of the goods that they need, the masks, the gloves, and I'm really pleased that we're able to do that, because any part of this community that becomes ill is going to impact all of us, and mostly our students.
Well, you are doing incredible work during these challenging times. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your community and your district. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for being with us, Mary.
Thank you.
And that is our broadcast. Thank you so much for being with us. If you have stories you want to share, you can either comment below this video or you can email us, goodnews@acsa.org. That's goodnews@acsa.org. For everyone here, I'm Michael Kelly. We'll see you next time.